Excellent job.
Thank you.
I mean, this is a fantastic movie.
Thank you.
How does one prepare for a role as iconic as this?
Well, it is daunting because people really know so much about her and the way she talked and looked and moved. And I wanted to, of course, first and foremost, be believable. And so I worked a lot on the accent and the voice and the movement. And of course, I had great hair and makeup and wardrobe people making me look as much like her as possible, because that's how you have to be just believable to an audience before anything. And then, of course, there's all of the emotional work, which is the sort of deeper and more interesting side. And I got to read so much about it and imagine so much, of course, as well. And that's what's great about the movie, is that it considers her humanity, not just her as an icon.
You mentioned the accent. Did you practice in front of the mirror? Because honestly, after I saw this film, I went back and watched on YouTube the video of the White House tour. Spot on. It was you. But did you, obviously you studied video.
Yeah.
Did you practice in the mirror?
Well, it was lucky to have so much information out there. You know, the White House tour, we replicated almost exactly. So I just watched those tapes and listened to them over and over and over and over again. And yeah, I would practice. I had it on my iPhone, and I would, listen while I was running or while I was just cooking or whatever. It was very helpful because the accent is almost a map of her life, because you see this sort of New York childhood and then the prep school sort of finishing school part of it, and it really sort of gives you a diagram to her background.
What is it about Jackie that surprised you? Because obviously you learned a lot about her playing this role, but was there anything that surprised you?
There was a lot that surprised me. She's so sharp. I mean, when you read these transcripts of her interviews after the assassination, she knew every person who interacted with JFK and what their policy position was and what the particular argument was. And she wasn't someone who was particularly invited into those conversations. She was really standing outside the door paying attention and really understood the ins and outs of all of the sort of political exchanges. And also really understood history and was such a scholar of history that she understood that the story you tell is more important than what actually happened, and that's what sticks.
Where did you film this? Because I went to the White House last year. I was actually there the day of the State of the Union.
Wow.
But you really replicated a lot of, well, I only went to the East Wing. I
Right.
wasn't Big Baller, go to the West Wing. But where did you guys, was it a soundstage or?
Yes, we actually filmed this in Paris, which was amazing, unusual. Because both the director wanted to be there for personal reasons and I wanted to be there for my family living there at the time. And so they built the White House on a stage just outside of Paris, which was kind of incredible. A lot of the artisans actually that really worked on the actual White House came from France, and a lot of that old artisanship of how they carved and the embroidery and the fabrics came from France. So it was actually lucky because a lot of that still exists there, that artisanship, and they just did an incredible job. I mean, it really looks exactly the same.